Hey guys, welcome back. And again, we're going to tackle chapter 3 of Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. I hope you are enjoying reading this book with me. At the least, I hope you contemplate and ponder on the different themes that accompany these videos as I write them, I headline them. I am enjoying reading it again. I hope you truly do. And we can discuss them in the comment section if you choose to share your opinion or share the relevancy of this to you. Okay, let's start with chapter 3. Okonkwo did not have the start in life which many young men usually had. He did not inherit a band from his father. There was no band to inherit. The story was told in Umuafia of how his father Unoka had gone to consult the oracle of the hills and the caves to find out why he always had a miserable harvest. The oracle was called Agbala, and people came from far and near to consult it. They came when misfortune dogged their steps or when they had a dispute with their neighbors. They came to discover what the future held for them or to consult the spirits of their departed fathers. The way into the shrine was a round hole at the side of a hill, just a little bigger than the round opening into a hen house. Worshippers and those who came to seek knowledge from the god crawled on their belly through the hole and found themselves in a dark, endless space in the presence of Agbala. No one ever had beheld Agbala except his priestess. But no one who had ever crawled into his awful shrine had come out without the fear of his power. His priestess stood in by the sacred fire which she built in the heart of the cave and proclaimed the will of the god. The fire did not burn with a flame. The glowing logs only served to light up vaguely the dark figure of the priestess. Sometimes a man came to consult the spirit of his dead father or relative. It was said that when such a spirit appeared, the man saw it vaguely in the darkness, but never heard its voice. Some people even said that they had heard the spirits flying and flapping their wings against the roof of the cave. Many years ago, when Okonkwo was still a boy with his father, Unoka had gone to consult Agbala. The priestess in those days was a woman called Chika. She was full of the power of her god, and she was greatly feared. Unoka stood before her and began his story. Every year, he said sadly, before I put any crop in the earth, I sacrifice a cock to Ani, the owner of all land. It is the law of our fathers. I also kill a cock at the shrine of Ifejioku, the god of yams. I clear the bush and set fire to it when it is dry. I sow the yams when the first rains has fallen and shake them when the young tendrils appear. I weed. Hold your peace, screamed the priestess, her voice terrible as it echoed through the dark void. You have offended neither the gods nor your fathers, and when a man is at peace with his God and his ancestors, his harvest will be good or bad, according to the strength of his arm. You, Unoka, are known in all the clan for the weakness of your machete and your hoe. When your neighbors go out with their axe to cut down virgin forest, you sow your yams on exhausted farms that take no labor to clear. They cross 7 rivers to make their farms. You stay at home and offer sacrifice to a reluctant soil. Go home and work like a man. Unoka was an ill-fated man. He had had a bachi or personal god. An evil fortune followed him to the grave, or rather, to his death, for he had no grave. He died of the swelling, which was an abomination to the earth goddess. When a man was afflicted with swelling in the stomach and the limbs, he was not allowed to die in the house. He was carried to the evil forest and left there to die. There was the story of a very stubborn man who staggered back to his house and had to be carried again to the forest and tied to a tree. The sickness was an abomination to the earth, and so the victim could not be buried in her bowels. He died and rotted above the earth and was not given the first or the second burial. Such was Unoka's fate. When they carried him away, he took with him his flute. With a father like Unoka, Okonkwo did not have the start in life which many young men had. He neither inherited a barn, nor a title, nor even a young wife. But in spite of these disadvantages, he had begun, even in his father's lifetime, to lay the foundations of a prosperous future. It was slow and painful, but he threw himself into it like one possessed. And indeed, he was possessed by the fear of his father's contemptible life and shameful death. There was a wealthy man in Okonkwo's village who had 3 huge barns and 9 wives and 30 children. His name was Nwakibie, and he had taken the highest but one title which a man could take in the clan. It was for this man that Okonkwo worked to earn his first seed, yams. He took a pot of palm wine and a cock to Nwakibie. 2 elderly neighbors were sent for, and Nwakibie's 2 grown-up sons were also present in his obi. He presented the kola nut and an alligator pepper, which were passed around for all to see and then returned to him. He broke the kola nut, saying, "We shall live. We pray for life, children, a good harvest, and happiness. You will have what is good for you, and I will have what is good for me. Let the kite perch. Let the eagle perch too. If one says no to the other, let his wing break." After the kola nut had been eaten, Okonkwo brought his palm wine from the corner of the hut where it had been placed and stood it in the center of the group. He addressed Nwakibie, calling him "Our father." "Nai," he said, "I have brought you this little kola. As our people say, a man who pays respect to the great paves the way for his own greatness. I have come to pay you my respects and also to ask a favor. But let us drink the wine first." Everybody thanked Okonkwo, and the neighbors brought out their drinking horns from the goatskin bags they carried. Nwakibie brought down his own horn, which was fastened to the rafters. The younger of his sons, who was also the youngest man in the group, moved to the center, raised the pot on his left knee, and began to pour out the wine. The first cup went to Okonkwo, who must taste his wine before anyone else. Then the group drank, beginning with the eldest man. When everyone had drunk 2 or 3 horns, Nwakibie sent for his wives. Some of them were not at home, and only 4 came in. "Is Anasi not in?" he asked them. They said she was coming. Anasi was the first wife, and the others could not drink before her, and so they stood waiting. Anasi was a middle-aged woman, tall and strongly built. There was authority in her bearing, and she looked every inch the ruler of the women folk in a large and prosperous family. She wore the anklet of her husband's titles, which the first wife alone could wear. She walked up to her husband and accepted the horn from him. She then went down on one knee, drank a little, and handed back the horn. She rose, called him by his name, and went back to her hut. The other wives drank in the same way, in their proper order, and went away. The men then continued their drinking and talking. Ogbuefi Edigo was talking about the palm wine tapper, Obiako, who suddenly gave up his trade. There must be something behind it, he said, wiping the foam of wine from his mustache with the back of his left hand. There must be a reason for it. A toad does not run in the daytime for nothing. Some people say the oracle warned him that he would fall off the palm tree and kill himself, said Akukalia.